This video is sponsored by Hisense. Back at CES 2022, Hisense invited me to come out to their booth and check out everything that they brought to the show. What ensued was more than a look into some amazing ULED panels and continued interest in big screens. It also included a surprising first look, at least for me, at how great short-throw projectors can be, along with an education into the actual technology itself. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here's a look at what Hisense brought to CES, alongside an interview with Chris Miller, Product Marketing Manager at Hisense, where I got to learn a lot about short-throw projectors. Hisense always has a commanding presence at CES with a booth that is pretty hard to miss because bright and colorful panels are constantly blasting. It doesn't take long to see some insane televisions on display, and the brand brought their ULED offerings to CES 2022 with a bunch of different sizes and with some powerful enhancements. Of particular note is the introduction of mini LED technology to the higher-end models of the U lineup, namely the U9H and the U8H. Now, mini LED brings some true benefits to these televisions. Because of the smaller size of the diodes, Hisense is able to provide greater control over the contrast, the color, and the HDR outputs. Not to mention, the brightness of the panels can be further increased by a significant amount. As a matter of fact, the panels that you were seeing set up at the entrance of the booth were a perfect example. The U8H and the U9H televisions clearly showed an overall increase in output, with the U9H topping the list with 2,000 nits. All of this power via mini LED tech can be achieved without making the panels themselves any thicker. While there will be a large portion in the middle where many of the components are housed and some of the computing actually happens, the panel itself is really quite thin despite how much it's able to put out. Speaking of the computing power, Hisense televisions are now sporting the full version of Google TV for an easy on the eyes and easy to use interface across any and all streaming services. Bringing mini LED technology to the ULED lineup clearly enhances the viewing experience, but there's more where that came from. Just past the 4 television setup was a gaming area where I spent quite a bit of time. With the Xbox Series X connected, I was able to enjoy 4K, high refresh rate, low latency HDR content with ease. You can see in the settings page of the Xbox that everything is enabled, and that is something you can expect from the Hisense ULED lineup. Only now, in the more premium offerings, you also get that mini LED goodness. I moved on to further fun viewing experiences down the booth where I was actually surprised by what I saw. As I spoke with one of the representatives, I asked what panel I was looking at in the living room installation. But sure enough, it wasn't actually a panel. It was instead a projection coming from one of Hisense's Laser TVs. And you know what? The term laser TV is actually a good way of describing what is otherwise known as a short-throw projector. The reason being that even with the ambient light that was on the show floor around the projector, the image was still very clear and very bright. So the particular laser TV we're looking at is the L9G TriChroma, considered the king of short-throw projectors in 2021. With a top brightness of 3,000 lumens, the projector that sits just under a foot away from the casting surface has then been updated this year to include Dolby Vision. Having never worked with short-throw projection until now, I was still surprised that it tricked me into thinking I was looking at a real TV. So I had to learn more about how these projectors worked. So I sat down with Chris Miller, Product Marketing Manager at Hisense, to get an education into short-throw. So how is that actually working? I've worked with a few projectors already. Obviously, they're not short throw.
Yep.
What exactly is the technology that creates the short distance to allow for that type of panel? That type of image?
It's all in the glass. It's in the lens, right? We're taking a laser projection and we're bouncing it up and casting it at this extreme angle, but we're doing it to make a perfect 16:9 rectangle. Think of it like an ultra short throw. It has its own special lens that allows it to cast at this extremely oblique angle and then get that perfect 16:9 projection. It's all in the glass.
Fantastic. Knowing what I know about panels and projectors in general, how exactly are you able to achieve this level of color and detail in a projector? Because all of this seems so new to me that it's this good in front of my face, coming from a projector that is 11 inches away from that wall.
So this one that we're looking at right here, it uses a triple laser light source, dedicated red, green, and blue channels.
Okay.
And what that means is, rather than taking a single blue laser, which is very high energy light, and then splitting that out using different like filters to create the rest of the rainbow, we're getting dedicated red, green, and blue channels. So red produces red, green produces green, blue produces blue, and then we blend those to get the rest of the colors. This gives us an extremely wide color gamut, even wider than the best OLED TVs can achieve.
Wow.
We're at 107% of the BT 2020 or Rec 2020 color
Rec 2020,
gamut.
yeah.
Right.
As a creator, I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Right. So compared, like I said, the best OLEDs are high 90s, right?
Yeah.
Extremely good,
Yeah.
right? No doubt, they're extremely good for a color gamut. This exceeds even the best of those.
What would be the biggest selling points to a short throw projector like the L9G that would convince them to not go to one, even one of your ULEDs?
So there's a couple of different things to consider. One, again, size.
Yes.
Right. At 100 inches, that's 2.5 times more screen than a 55-inch TV. 2.5 times more. If you go up to our 120-inch size, 3.5 times more visual display area than a 55-inch TV. Right. So size is number one. I'd say number two is there's kind of a convenience factor with ultra short throw that doesn't get a lot of airtime, doesn't get talked about a lot. But think about it. We have a passive a screen on a wall, right? No electrical connection. So think about installing this in your house. You're not having to cut holes in the walls, run cabling down through it for power, for sources, out to your media player, whatever. You don't have to do any of that. You simply hang this ultra lightweight screen. Now, this, mind you, this 100-inch screen weighs 22 pounds.
Okay.
And you hang that on the wall. And then you've got a projector. And if you don't like it being out all the time, you put it away.
Does it need to be on a panel, like a white panel like that, or can it just be projected onto the wall for the same effect? Is it just sort of the most ideal situation, or are ultra short throws able to do it on like pretty much any surface?
It's in the screen. So this is an ambient light rejecting screen.
Oh.
What that means is all the light that's coming in from overhead, that's spilling in through your windows in a room, are all being rejected away from the screen. There's this geometry called a Fresnel lens layer that's in the optics of this display that's performing that for us, getting all that ambient light rejection. And then that screen is also made to catch the light from the ultra short throw projector at that oblique angle and then bounce it directly out to the viewer. That's why, yes, with the screen, you can view it in this well-lit environment like we're here right at CES, and it looks fantastic. You turn the lights out, the effect is even more dramatic. It looks so good. But if you don't want to do the screen thing and you just want to, you like pull the projector out, throw it up on the wall for a movie and you're done, you put it away, totally cool.
Yeah.
As long as you turn the lights out.
The 11 inches that allow for the 100-inch image, is that just the most ideal setting, or can you move forward and backward in order to create a different?
So you can absolutely move it forward and back, and that's going to scale up or down the size of your projection.
Yeah.
But with Hisense, at our laser TVs, we use a fixed focus, and we pair the projector with the screen. So when you buy this, you're getting the bundle.
Oh,
the
you get
projector
both
with the screen together.
Oh, okay.
So these are not two separate pieces, they come packaged together in a single box.
Okay.
The reason we do that is because we're able to guarantee what the picture is going to be that you're going to receive.
For slightly different use cases, I was asking for the ULED TVs, the gaming side, things like variable refresh rate, high refresh rate, all of that. I have noticed that with some projectors that I've used, and granted they were not ultra short throw and probably not as premium as what we're looking at now, that some of those features were not a part of it.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's a limitation of the technology or anything like that. Do the L9G or any of the other ultra short throws that you have happen to have any of those features?
So we do have some of those features, okay? So this is a 4K projector with a 60 hertz native refresh rate. So 4K 60, so PS5, Xbox Series X, you're good, right? Most of those games can do that on that console right now. We also have HDMI 2.1 ports. Now those ports support auto low latency in game mode, right? So you plug in your source, it knows it's a PS5, it optimizes the projector settings so that you're going to get the best gaming experience you possibly can that this projector can produce. Input lag is right around 30 milliseconds.
Okay.
So if you're a hardcore gamer and you play on your gaming PC and you're used to a 1 millisecond response time, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
But if you want to sit back and just play like Super Smash Brothers on a gigantic screen,
great reference.
This is, you're not going to cry over 30 milliseconds. It's nigh indetectable.
Yeah.
For more casual adventure, action, RPG type games all day long. If you're serious FPS, hey, play on your gaming monitor.
Okay.
As I've started to dive further into big screens over the last year or so on this channel, projectors have been the next foray, and now short throw seems to be the next logical step. Clearly, they're a wonderful alternative to televisions in even Hisense's own catalog. While they are generally pricier than actual TV sets, there are very real benefits to picking projectors like this. We've already talked about space saving as a big plus, but honestly it's just really cool to see how much you can get from a mirrored projected image just being thrown up on the wall. The L9G is the Hisense Laser TV that is available in the US now, but they do also have other offerings that further extend the capabilities of short throw projection. Projectors like the PX1 Pro can actually be chained together to make an ultra-wide and super large image. Imagine gaming on this huge of an image. But overall, Hisense has continued to show each year at CES how much work they've been putting into their panels, both physical and projected. And with the latest lineup that was shown at CES, there's a lot of fun to be had, and hopefully I'll get more time with them very soon. For more on CES 2022 and beyond, subscribe to my channel. Sound off by dropping some likes on this video and by getting into the comment sections down below. From there, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.